Hello friend, how are you? Welcome to Tripan Study Center. Today we are going to do the chapter of social science and highlighting each and every point of it. Let's see what is our topic today. Physiographical of India. The physiographical India is the most important chapter here. And first of all here, location. Location is the most important here. The teacher learns when someone asks where India is. We can answer in a two-way, the term of absolute and the relative location. Let us see what we mean by the absolute location and relative locations. Absolute location is given to degree of latitudes and longitudes. Relative location depend upon the point of reference, etc. and therefore. But first of all, is the main point here. Latitude. What do you mean here? Latitude. Latitude is a angular distance north and south from the equator of a point on the earth as a surface. That is important. And second here, longitude. Longitude is mean. Longitude is a angular distance on the earth as a surface and measured east and west from the prime meridian and Greenwich. That is important. And the next here, angular distance. Angular distance here, the angular distance between 2 points from to the centers is called angular distance. Here show the diagram. There is the most important here. There is the northern and southern, the 90 and 90, north and south here. And the other side equator, the 0 to 0. But there is latitude of prime meridians in the show, and the tropical cancer also show here, and tropical outlets, and there is equator, tropical Capricorn, and tropical Antarctica. This is the most important figure on your screen. There is a shape of earth and the difference the direction on your screen. The teacher asks some important things here. With the help of the map, can you find out the longitudinal and the longitudinal location of India is a main land? The student Natasha asks this answer. The India is a mainland extended to between to the 8 degrees and 4 northern and 37.6 northern latitudes, and from 68 and 7 eastern and 97.25 eastern latitudes. Thus the latitudes and the northern south extend to the 3,214 kilometer, and east base extend there to 2,933 kilometer. India is a count of 2.42% of the total world land area. And the teacher asks again, India lies entire in the northern hemisphere, and the eastern hemisphere there is the tropical of Cancer, means 30s northern, and the pass through the center of the country. It divides the countries into the almost two equal parts. The northward of this latitude is the northern Indians, and south is known as the South India. And similarly, 82 to 30 east latitude and pass almost from the middle of the country. It is known as a standard meridian of India. That is important. And again, teacher asks here, now determine the relative location of India and there record it in their space given below. Remember, relative location is given to relation to the other place north and south of northeast of next to across from. India is a part of the Asian continent, and India is surrounded by the water from three sides. Arabian Sea is the best, Bay of Bengal in the east, and Indian Ocean in the south. Toward it is a northwest Pakistan and Afghanistan, China, Bhutan, Tibet, Nepal lies it is the north. Bangladesh and Myanmar lies to be its east, Sri Lanka and Maldives as the location in the Indian Ocean toward its south. The southernmost point of the country is the Indira Point. That is important. The southernmost point of the country is the Indira Point, and Nicobar Island, which lies on the 6 degrees 4 and longitude of the Kanyakumari, is the southernmost point of Indian is a mainland which lies on the 8.4 north altitude. There is the most important word as things here, teacher. The next here, locationally significance. There is locational significance is the most important topic. Let's observe here. What do you notice? India is the largest country in terms of area and population in South Asia. It is surrounded by the oceans, and India is is strategically there occupied Indian Ocean. It's a command sea routes of between Europe and Africa. Southeast Asia for Asia and the Oceania. It is because of this that the India is shares a good trade relation between too many countries since ancient time. India has a good location in a term of the sea and also well connected by the land. And various parts like Natulal, Sikkim and Speakers La Himachal Pradesh and Joalis La is a Brazil and the La Pass is Jammu and Kashmir have their own importance. The main India is a Tibet chase route that is connected to the Kalampong near of Darjeeling. With the Lhasa is the Tibet pass through there is a Jalepa La and the several passes have to be provided passes to be many ascent travelers. These routes are not only important for the trade but also to exchange the idea and culture. Here show the most important Indian trade route. There is almost all our country is trading for the India. There is the most important on your screen. Our next topic is important here. State and Union Territory of India. There is some important states and Union Territory of India. India is the seventh largest country in the world. India is the seventh largest country in the world. It has a land boundary of 15,200 kilometer and 6,100 kilometer long coastal line. India as a landmark is a cover 3.28 million square kilometer of area. This accounts for nearly 2.42% of the total geographically area of the world. That is important. The India is the seventh largest country in the world and here 2.42% of the total geographical area in the world. For a good governance, India has been divided into 28 states and 7 union territory. There is a figure of change. 28 state but is a 8 union territory. There are 8 here, Jammu and Kashmir and there is a Ladakh. There is the most important here. On your screen, there is Indian political map. There is a most important Indian political map on your screen. There is a most important state here are 28 state and 8 unity trade. Unity. There is important here. This map clearly indicate that each state and union territory has its urban capital. It is interesting to be noted that New Delhi is the capital of India. Delhi is the capital of Union Territory Delhi. Can you identify any other capital like this? Yes, it is a Chandigarh which is the capital of 2 states, Haryana and Punjab and also as a Union Territory. There is important Chandigarh is a capital of Haryana and Punjab and also Union Territory. The next topic is here physical division of India. There is a most important question and in this question asking for the Natasha, what is a terrain? The terrains in an area of land which usually has a particular types of physical feature. Fra, like a Mumbai, beach is a sandy and slogan is a hilly. Teachers say, right. Do you know? India is a vast is a country with a variety landform and topography. But Rajinder is asked here, what is the meaning of the topograph? The teacher asked here, topograph is mean there a feature of a place determined by the nature, or it is the descriptions of the various feature and landscape on the surface of earth. India has a topographical diversity. This includes of Great Himalaya, the Northern Plain and the Thar Desert, the coastal plain and the peninsular plateaus also. And this reason for the variation in the topographs could be a difference in their rock formation and this is a land masses has been to form it a different geographical period. That is important. The number of processes such as the batherings, evasions and deposition has modified this feature of their present form. That is important. And what do you mean here? Weathering and evasions. The weathering here is the process of gradually destruction of the rock at or the near the earth as a surface through the physical, chemical and biological process. and causing by the wind, water, climate change, etc. That is important. Weathering is important. The weathering is a physical, chemical, and biological process here, and causing by wind, water, climatic change. And erosion is here. Erosion is a process gradually transportations of weathered rock materials through their natural and agency like a wind, river, steam, glacier, etc. That is important. And weathering is a distinguished from to erosion as no transportations of the material is invisible. There case of weathering. India is a country of physical diversity, and there are a high mountain peak in a some area where there are other. Like the flat plain is formed by rivers. One the basis of physical feature of India is divided into the following six division. There are six division is the most important on your map. Come and see the map. Here show the most important map, a Indian physical map. You know that there is the most important here. Above 100 to 1200 the above there is a Himalaya region, Hindu Kush mountains. There are most important Shivalik range also here, and above the 600 to 1200 there is a region here. Some part of India there is a show on the dark here, but light dark there is a 300 to 600 here a scale meter. There is almost a center of India, and the below here the Rajasthan, Uttar Pradesh and other area. There is an important here on your screen. There is a physical for the India. The important topic here: the northern mountain, the northern plain, the peninsular plateaus, the Indian desert, the coastal plain and the island. There is important. The first here, the northern mountain. Northern mountain here it is divided into three groups. There are the Himalayas, the Trans Himalayas, and is a Pranchals Hill. Pranchals Hill there is important, and there is a important also. But first of all, there is the most important point here: pass. Pass it means to be a nature gap. Gap are the route between two ridges and hill. And the range here, larger landmarks consisting of the mountain, ridges and peak. And the peak here, highest point of tip of the mountain range. And valley here, depression are the flat land between two elevated area. And dune here, longitudinal valley as excitings between two Himachal and Shivalik. There is a most important point here. But first topic here arrive the Himalayan mountain. The Himalayan mountain, the Himalaya are the young fold mountain, and this is the highest mountain range of the world. Himalaya act as naturals is a barrier, and the extreme is called snow, and the rubble is a topograph, and the sky is there is a nevers and the enter Indian through the Himalayas, and they run from the west east direction from the Hindu and Brahmaputra along the northern boundary of India. On your screen there is a mountain range. There is an important the Shivalik, and there is the Arunachal Pradesh side, and maximum here a Kailash range. There is a Hind Kush, Kulkun Mills, and the most important range on your screen. There is an important map here, and covering a distance of 2,500 kilometer, and there's a varies from the 400 in the west and 150 kilometers in the east. The Himalaya may be divided into three parallel range. There is a most important range here: the greater Himalayas as Himandri, and lesser Himalaya as a Himachals, and outer is a Himalayas as Shivaliks. There is important, and the first here the greater Himalayas as Himandri. The greater Himalayas is a comprise of the northern is a most range and the peak. It has on the average height of 6,000 meters, and the while lies between to the 120 to 119 ms. It is the most is a continued range. It is a snowbound, and the many glacier descend from this range. And here it is a high peak is a like a Mount Everest and Kanchenjunga and Makols, the Aguiris and Naga Parbat, etc. And the having a height of more than 8,000 meter. But Mount Everest is the 8,848 meter is the highest peak on the world, and Kanchenjunga is the highest peak of Himalaya in India. High mountain pass also exist in the range, namely is the Baralocha, La, Sipkula, and Natula, and Joyla, and Bomidi, La, etc. The Ganga and Yamuna rivers originate from this Himalayas. The next year, the layers was Himalayas and Himachal. The altitude of this range of lies between the 1,000 to the 4,500 meter, and the average wealth is a 50 kilometer. The prominent range in the area is a Pirs, Panjal, and Dolsdar and Mahabharata ranges. And it is a comprised of there are many famous hill stations like Simla, Dalhousie, Brazil, Charakarata, and the Masuris and Nainital, etc. It is also is a comprised of the famous valley like Kashmir, Kullu, Kangra, etc. and then important. And next year, the outer Himalayas are Shivalik. It is the outermost range of the Himalayas. The altitude varies between to the 900 to 1,100 meter, and the wall lies is between 10 to 50 kilometer. They have a low hills like a Jammu hills and etc. The valley lying between the Shivalik and later is a Himalaya. Himachal is called Dun. Dun like a Dehradun and Kotal's Dun and Patal Dun. There is the most important Dun here. The next year, the Trans-Himalaya Range. It is a extent north of Great Himalaya and the parallel to it is called Jakhara Range. Northern and Jakhara Range lies a Ladakh Range. The Indo rivers flow between two Jakharas and Ladakh's range. The Karakorams the range lies extremely northern of the country. And K2 is the second highest peak of the world. That is important. The Provincial Hill is a comprised to the Misami Patakois Naga. Patakoi Naga is a Milor Hills which are located in the eastern side. The Meghalaya is a plateau is also part of this hill which is include the hill of Garo, Khasi and Jainta. That is important. The next year, the northern plan. Let us try to look at the level of state lining of northern plan of India. Refer the 9.5 figure northern plan. A locality between the south of the Himalayas and north of the peninsular plateaus. It is formed by the deposition of the sediment about a three main river system, namely there is the Indo, the Ganga and Brahmaputra. From the Punjab is the west and Assam is the east, and this plain is about 2,400 kilometer long. It's a wild varies from about 300 kilometer in the west to be about and 150 kilometer in the east. It's a mainly include the state of Punjab, Haryana, Uttar Pradesh, Bihar, and West Bengal and Assam. And this is a plan is a very fertile and due to the avails sediment bound by the river from the Himalayas. And this plant is one of the largest and most fertile plant of the world. Major crops such as the wheat, rice, sugarcane, pulses, oil, seeds and jutes are growing here. Due to proper irrigation and plant makes a significant contribution in the production of the food grain. The northern plain is broadly divided into two parts here. The first year, the western plain, and second year, the Ganga Brahmaputra plain. The first western plain here, the western plain. This plain is formed the river system of Indo. It lies to the west or Abli, and this plain is formed due to the deposit bound by the river like the Satluj, the Beas, and the Ravi. The part of the plain has dubs. Very important. And next year, Brahmaputra. There is a Ganga Brahmaputra plain. It is also formed by the deposition of the sediments bound by the two main river systems. The Ganga and Brahmaputra, their earlier civilization like Mohenjo-daro and Harappa also is called the River Valley Civilization. There is a River Valley Civilization called to the Harappa culture. They are separate over to the plain area, and this because of the ability of the fertile land and water through the rivers network. That is important. And the next year, Doab. Doab is a alluvial land between two is a converging rivers. Example, Doab area is a Punjab. And Khadar, the area is folded by rivers almost every year. There is a called Khadar. And Bangar, the area is never to folded by the river. There is called Bangar. That is important. And next year, Peninsula, the Peninsular Plateau. Look at the map and given below the you will be find that a peninsular plateau is a triangular shaped tableland. It is a part of a sand landmass is called Gondwana level. Gondwana level there is a it is cover area of nearly 5 lakh kilometer square kilometer. It is a spread over to the state of Gujarat, Maharashtra, Bihar, Karnataka and Andhra Pradesh. On your screen, there is a most important map here. There are gondolas, coastal here. A try. There is an important on your screen. The river is Narmada divided the peninsular plateaus into two parts. The central height land and the Deccan plateaus. This is important. There is the river Narmada divided the peninsular plateaus into two parts. The first here, the central highland. The Stimli Narmada River and the northern plain arrivals in the important mountain which extend from Gujarat through Rajasthan to Delhi. The highest peak of the Aravalli Hill is a Guru Shikhar is a 1722 meter and near is a Mount Abu. The Alava is a plateau is a Chota Nagpur. Plateaus are part of the center highland. And river Betab and Chambals as a can there are important river of Malwa Plateau which is the Mahados, Kamu, Moor and Mekal are the important hills of the Chota Nagpur Plateau. The valley of Narmada is a lies between to the Vidyas and the Satpura which is the flows east and the west and joins the Arabian Sea. And the next year, the Deccan Plateau. The Deccan Plateau is separated by a fault of fractures. The fractures as a rock along with the rock have been to the relative replace. From a Chota Nagpur Plateau, the black soil area is the Deccan Plateau is known as the Deccan Trap. It is formed due to the volcanic eruptions and this soil is good for the cotton and sugarcane cultivation. And this soil is good for the cotton and sugarcane cultivation. The Deccan Plateau is broadly divided into the here two part. Deccan Plateau is divided here two part. The West Ghat and the Eastern Ghat. Let's study there is the Western Ghat here. The Western Ghat, if you look at a map, we will see there the Western Ghat is a relies in the best areas of the Deccan Plateau. It is a run parallel to be a best coast for about 1,600 kilometer. The average elevation of the Western Ghat is 1,000 meters. The famous peak in this area in the Dwarfs Betal and the Amedulas and the Marguerite. Their highest peak in this region in the Amemadui is 2,695 meter. And Western Ghat are continue and can be crossed through their pass like a Pal Ghat, Thal Ghat and the Bor Ghat. The rivers is like a Godavari, Bhima and the Krishna is the flow eastward, while the river Tapti flow is the westward. The stimuli for the rapid and the waterfall before the entry there are Arabian Sea. The famous waterfall is the Jai Goba fall on the Sarvati Siva Mahmudaram fall on the Kaveri sector. And the next year, the Eastern Ghat. The Eastern Ghat are discontinuous a low veld and their average evolution is a 600 meter and they run a parallel to be east coast from to the south of Mahanandis and valley there are Nilgiri Hill. The highest peak is this region is the Mahendragiri is a 1,501 meter. The famous hill are Mahendagiri is a hill is a Nimagiris and the hill is Orissa. Is a Nama Mahalis hill is a southern Andhra Pradesh and Kolimalis and the Panchamala in the Tamil Nadu. And their areas drain to the Mahandri and Godavari, Krishna and Kaveri river system. The Nilgiri Hills join to the western and eastern Ghat in the south. And the next year, the Indian desert. The Indian desert lies to about to the western margin of Aravalli Hill. It is also called to the Thar Desert. There is called Thar Desert. It is the ninth largest desert in the world. Ninth largest desert in the world. It is the most important question here. It is spread over to the state of Gujarat and Rajasthan. And this region has a semi-arid and dry weather condition. It receives less than 150 of the rainfall per year, and the vegetation cover is low with the hornets bushes. Luni is the main river in this area. All the streams appear only at the time of rainfall, otherwise they disappear into the sand. On your screen there is a Thar here. Thar is the area that is most important. There is only but sand here. I am a Thar, the Indian desert. I remain dry most of the year. I remain dry the most of year. The moisture varying the winds is a ghost parallel to the Aravallis, so I receive scanty rainfall. I am perceived by the cactus and other hornets bushes on my body. If you are thirsty, you will be have to walk several kilometers to the ridge on the oasis is in the Sindoet, a small water body. And next year, the coastal plain. The coastal plain in India is a run parallel to the Arabian Sea and Bay of Bengal along the peninsular plateau. The western coastal plain is a narrow belt along the Arabian Sea about 10 to 20 km wide. It is stretched from to the is a run of the Kutch to be Kanyakumari. And western coastal plain is a composed of three sectors. Konkan coastal Mumbai to Goa, and Karnataka coastal from there Goa to Mysore, and Malabar coastal is a Mangalore to be Kanyakumari. The eastern coast are run along to Bay of Bengal. It is a wilder than there is a western coastal plain. Its average value to about 120 kilometers, and the northern part of there is a coast is called northern Sirkar, and the southern part is called the Coromandel coastal. Eastern coastal plain is marked by the delta is made by the river Mahandri and Godavari, Krishna and Kaveri. The Chilka is the largest saltwater lake in India. In the Odisha is located to be south of Mahandri Delta. This is important. The coastal plain are the belt of growing spicy rice, coconut, paper, etc. There is a center of the trade and commerce. The coastal area is renowned the fishing activity, and therefore the large number of fishing villages has developed along the coastal. And Benabam is a famous lagoons which is located at the Malabar coastal area. The next year, the Iceland. India has two main group of islands. There are 204 islands in the Bay of Bengal is called Andaman and Nicobar Island, and 43 islands in the Arabian Sea is called as a Lakshadweep Island. The Andaman and Nicobar Islands stem from the north to the south in the Bay of Bengal. They are bigger in size. Unactive volcano is located in the Barents Island in the Andaman and Nicobar group of islands. Lakshadweep Island is located near Malabar coastal and Kerala in the Arabian Sea. They cover an area of 32 square kilometer, and Kaveri is the capital of Lakshadweep. And these islands are formed by the corals and endowed with their variety of flora and fauna. And these islands are important tourist attraction underwater activities like snorkeling, such as diving, deep sea and dividing and other port make this island more popular. That is the most important here. The next topic is the most important here, drainage system in India. That is important. Drainage system in India. The drainage system of referred to be a system of flow of surface water mainly through the rivers. An area drained by the rivers and it is a tributaries is called a drainage basin. The drainage system is related to a number of factors like a slope of land and geological is structure, amount and velocity of water. That is important. And the rivers, thought there is a drainage system perform a several tasks. These are excess of water removed from a particular area and transportations of sediments from one place to other and providing to natural source for the irrigations and the maintaining their water table of regions. And traditionally rivers were useful as a source of abundant and fresh water navigation. In today's world, rivers important as a reasons to be include a hydropower generation and setting up to the water-based industries. That's important also. These are the also important tourist attraction for the activities such as boating, river rafting, and clubs as jumping because there is a utility. The river are important for the life and hence is regarded as their lifeline. Many cities are located along the rivers and their densely is populated. Delhi on the bank of Yamuna, Patna is along Ganga, and Guwahati along is Brahmaputra. The Nasik along the Godavari and Cuttacks along to the Mahandris are some example. On the basis of reason to the drainage can be divided into two parts. You know that there is a most important here. Delhi on the bank of Yamuna, Patna along to Ganga, and Guwahati along to Brahmaputra, and Nasik along to Godavari, and Cuttack along to Mahandri. This is important for a drainage system here. But there are basin origin to drainage can be divided into two parts: the Himalayan drainage system and Peninsular drainage system. There is a two here. The important. Here the tributary. Tributaries mean a stream river that flow into the large river. Example here Yamuna. Yamuna is a tributary. Tributary mean a stream or river that flow into a large river. And delta here, a triangular shape is a land to be a mouth of a river forming from the deposition of slight sand and small rock that flow up downstream in the river. There is a Ganga delta that is important. Nastaveris is a particular is enclosed a coastal body of water and where is the salty tidal water mixes with the fresh water of the river. There is a Narmada river is make on stay. The next topic is here major drainage system in India. That is most important. Major drainage system here. As I mentioned earlier, on the basis of origin, there is the Indian rivers has been classified into two major drainage system here. Let us discuss the comparison between two drainage system here. The river system. River system that is important. There are perennial rivers is originating from the glacier. The Himalayan river system that is originate here a glacier. Rivers from a valley by the process of erosion. The rivers for valleys by the process of erosion. The rivers are ideal for the irrigation purpose as they pass through the plant fertile tract. This is important also. The plant fertile tracts here. And this arrives has been measuring as a course which is a shift over time. And next year, the Himalayan drainage system. The Himalayan drainage system, the most of the Himalayan rivers are perennials. That means they have water throughout the year. And this is because most of these rivers is originate from the glacier and snowy peaks. And they also receive water from the rainfall. The main river system in this category are here. The main rivers here. The Indo river system means Jhelum, Ravi, Vyas, Satluj. And next here, the Ganga river system here, Yamuna, Ramaganga, Ghagra, Gomti, Gandak and Koshi, etc. There is the most important. There is a Ganga river system here. There are Brahmaputra river system here, Divangs, Lohit, Tista and Meghana. There is etc. There is the most important. The Brahmaputra river system here. The next here, the important, the peninsular drainage system. There is important here, the peninsular drainage system. You have already studied about the peninsular plateaus. Most of the peninsular river flow the eastward and enter into the Bay of Bengal. Only Narmada and Tapti rivers which flow the westward of the Western Ghat, and they are good for the generating of hydropower because these rivers form a rapid and waterfalls. The major peninsular rivers are Mahandi's, Godavari, Krishna, and Kaveri. There is a most important river of here peninsular rivers side here. On your screen, there is a most important map here, the Indian major river system. You know that there is a most important river system on your screen. There is all over India, there are rivers or different types of rivers of flow here. There is an important major river system in India. The next here, keeping rivers clean. There is an important here, keeping rivers clean. Do you know that is over 97% of all the water on earth is a salty. There is a most important point here. There is a 97% of all the water is earth as a salty, and remaining 3% is a water is only fresh. Is a 3% only is a fresh. This tiny amount has to be provided to the fresh water need to support to entire population of the world. Fresh water is a precious is a resource, and there are increasing pollution of our rivers and lake is the cases of from alarms. You must have seen to rivers either the flowings through is your town, village, or is where India has a large number of rivers that are a lifeline for the millions of people living along their banks. And these rivers can be broadly categorized into four groups. There is river broadly categorized is into a four groups here. The first here, river that flow down from the Himalaya and are supplied by the melting snow and glacier. And this is why these are the peninsulas is that is they never dry up during the year. There is an important here. The melting snow and glacier, the reason of this river. The next year, the Deccan Plateau rivers, which depend on the rainfall for their water. The Deccan Plateau rivers, which is depend on rainfall for their water. The next year, the coastal rivers, especially those on their west coast, and which are short and do not return water throughout the year. There is the most important also. The river is the inland is drain basin of West Rajasthan, which depend on their rain, and this river is normally drained to about to the slight as a lake for flow into the sand. There is a also important here, and also here the rivers has been to give to the pride of place in the way of life. You know that there is a most important point here. The rivers has been to give the pride of place in the way of life, and several cities as well as holy sirens are on the bank of river. And indeed the rivers such as Ganga and Yamuna are spread into million. Million and above this there is a began to the polluted with their uncontestable and environmental threat is a practice here. Only sewage claimed for about a 70% pollution load in Indian rivers. There is a sewage claim for about a 70% of population load in the Indian rivers. Heavy load of biological and there is this chemical pollutant usually enter to the waterway to be consumed in a some manner by their downstream user. You know that heavy load of biological and chemical pollutant usually enter to the waterway to be consumed in a some manner by their downstream user, and this affect the aquatic life and causes a various health hazard. Along with the pollutant and intensity of people toward the rivers is a several aiding to be a problem. Urban dwellers is identified along with the rivers. On example, can be there is a highly contaminated is a blackish water for Yamuna rivers and New Delhi, which hardly draw attention for the capital as citizens. Since water success are assigned to be provincial government in India, each one of them is treats is a river as its own, with the little or no regard to be a downstream effect. Ecological and conservationists have to the long demanding that rivers need to be treated as one entity and work on the determined time specific and combination of the serious efforts, and this could be lead to be on improvement of water quality of rivers. The government has come up with the ambitious rivers cleaning initiatives such as the Ganga Action Plan and GAP. There is mean Ganga Action Plan GAP and the National River Conservation Plans NRCP in the hope of improving water quality. That is important. The National River Conservation Plan means NRCP in the hope of improving water quality, and there is a water harvesting is a gaining popularity across the country, and through which is a monsoon water could be returned in their rivers basin, and several civil organizations and people movement are also contribute in the rising of awareness and sensitivity about the critical condition of the polluted rivers. That is also important here.